Oh my goodness! That is ridiculous. Comboed up with Jerry.
Fury self-destruct is through the point and it catches Violet.
Back, you think I'll finish on 5 or 2, make it 3.
Oh, rise for justice.
What is up, Washington Justice fam, and welcome to the official co-stream of the Washington Justice for today's matchup against the Houston Outlaws. My name is John Fiasco, by alongside Joey Courtside, King McDermott. We are with OTN Media. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Joey, it is the Countdown Cup. It has been a while since we've seen the Justice in action, and they are back. We are super excited to be here with you all today. You know, it's a tough matchup today. It's going up against the Houston Outlaws, Joey. They're a tough team. They're currently 9-3. Their overall record, they are one game better than the Justice in the standings. They're third place overall. The Justice right behind them in fifth place. Again, that one game differential, and we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs, and everything is starting to heat up. Can you hear me over there, Joey?
Yeah, I can now.
Oh, okay.
It's doing the good old freeze thing that it does every once in a while for us. Got to love it. But yeah, it's going to be a big match today, John. As we get closer and closer to the Countdown Cup, unfortunately, slightly missing out on the May Melee, not quite making it for the June Joust, and then slightly missing out on the latest action as well. We've really wanted to hit one of these tournaments, and we've been so close, but just slightly off every single time. To get this one started, we have a tough match up against the Outlaws, as you mentioned, slightly above us in the standings, third versus fifth. As far as map differential, Houston's at a +11. We're at a +9. So very close, pretty much all the way across the board. This is going to be one of those matchups we need to win, or we need to at least take something big out of as we get closer, not only to the Countdown Cup, but playoffs to follow.
Absolutely. And Joey, while these two teams are going to be competing against each other today for critical placements in the standing, if you will, they are joining up for a very good cause today. You know, it's something we're going to briefly touch on. You know, obviously everyone is well aware with going on with Activision Blizzard at the moment. You know, Joey and myself, we're right there with the rest of the gaming community. You know, we're disgusted from what we've heard as well, and we're glad that the Overwatch League is making a stand as well, and we're very proud of our Washington Justice team for putting out a statement as well, along with the other teams across the Overwatch League. And the Justice and the Outlaws are teaming up today for what they're dubbing Outlaws for Justice. And this is a really, really awesome thing where the Justice and the Outlaws are going to donate to charities based upon who wins maps. So while, yes, there is going to be a winner and loser today in today's best of 5 map matchup here in the Countdown Cup between the Justice and the Outlaws, there's going to be winners across the board here, because at the end of the day, these charities that are going to make positive impacts in our community, in our society, as humans are, it's going to make our society better. And just to touch on those real quick, on those organizations, for the Houston Outlaws, they are sponsoring with Big Sisters, Little Sisters, pardon me. It's a mentoring program, a nonprofit organization geared towards impacting women and communities nationwide. Big Sister, Little Sisters mentoring program for women that promotes self-confidence, life skills, and social appropriateness by way of invigorating programs and projects. Strive to make a positive and long-lasting impact on college campuses and for college-bound girls. Definitely check out their website. It's bigsisterlittlesister.org as well. And then for the Washington Justice, they are supporting RAIN. RAIN is the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization, created and operates the National Sexual Assault Hotline in partnership with more than 1,000 local sexual assault service providers across the country, and operates the DoD Safe Hotline for the Department of Defense. RAIN also carries out programs to prevent sexual violence and helps survivors and ensure that perpetrators are brought to justice. So those are the two organizations that will be benefiting from today's matchup. If the Justice win a map against the Outlaws, then the Outlaws will have to make a donation to RAIN. If the Outlaws defeat the Justice will make a donation to Big Sister, Little Sister mentorship program as well.
But John, that's not all. On top of that, the Overwatch League itself was inspired by this charitable contribution going on between the Justice and the Houston Outlaws, and they'll end up going and matching everything that gets donated today by both sides. And on top of that, they're going to expand those donations as well. So there is a match being made too. So lots of great stuff going on here today.
Absolutely. And so with that, we are super excited once again for both of these teams coming together in this situation. And we're going to throw it over to Watchpoint here real quick. They are breaking down today's matchup, and we'll get it over there, and we'll be right back on the other side here after they are done.
When I've been wrong about the Outlaws, they've come and they've reaped the clout, okay? And that's fair. That's fair, you know. I take an L, you know, I'll be like, okay, I took an L on that prediction. This time around, I'm not scared of you, okay? I'm predicting a Washington Justice 3-0 sweep here. I think the Washington Justice, they're dominant in this meta, playing the Wrecking Ball, Assassin on the Sombra, Decay on the Tracer. So, Outlaws, I have a lot of confidence in you down the line with this stage. Like, Dante on Tracer on Sombra is, like, phenomenal. I love that. Dreamer can play the Wrecking Ball. But there's a lot of things to work out here for the Houston Outlaws. Washington Justice, they know what to do. Please just follow the game plan. Just please play the game the correct way, okay? It's so simple. And I think we're going to see a 3-0 win here.
Bruh. 3-0. 3-0. Like, you just say that. Like, you didn't even give me a real reasoning. Like, that's... No.
They good.
I'm not... They're good. They're good.
Houston fans are going to come
Houston
get
ain't
you.
good. Okay, why do you think Houston Outlaws doesn't have what it takes?
I do think they have what it takes. Like, I literally set it up for you. I think they will be good down the line, but this is a team that has undergone changes, you know, like figuring out their compositions, their player rotations, their strategies. They've been a team that relies more on the Rush compositions, playing the Reinhardt compositions, playing the Orisa compositions. Now they have to play Wrecking Ball. You gotta change up the tempo, your play style. Washington Justice, they got that figured out. Hopefully. Do they? And the Houston Outlaws don't. So I'm just saying, I think Washington Justice, by having more experience playing this comp, they will be better, Zoe. And
I love that.
it's a bold prediction, okay? I'm just trying to be bold. It'll be a 3-0. Why does it have to be that hard? I'm just trying to do my job, Zoe.
You see what's happening here. If I were to drag out this segment for another, like, 2 or 3 minutes, he would feel less and less confident about that very prediction. So before you losing faith in not just the Washington Justice but yourself as well, let's kick it over to our casters, Brennan Sideshow. How are we doing? I haven't asked the first time we chatted, but how are you?
You know, it's,
wow.
Not you, Brent. Not you. Just
not
just
me.
Sideshow.
Just that.
Not you.
I mean, that's just incredibly rude, isn't it? I mean, I thought we were getting a nice hold. This is what Zoe does, you see. It's the same kind of mind game she was playing with Jonathan as well. You know,
all right. So bold prediction there, Joey, from Ryan Force. He's over here saying that it's going to be a 3-0 for the Washington Justice. Personally, I like that bold prediction. I agree. I think it is actually bold. I think the rest of the panel giving him grief for actually making a bold prediction. That is bold. I mean, I think it's the first time that Watchpoint has actually given us a bold prediction all season, it feels like.
It is definitely one that has stood out compared to the rest. Now, John, as a Justice fan, I would love to see a 3-0 today, but Houston's a strong team, John. I think this one is going to be a much tougher matchup than Ryan Force really gives it credit for.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I personally don't see it going 3-0 for the Justice. I am expecting a Justice win, I will say that, but a 3-0 would be a very pleasant and welcome surprise. So I will agree with him on that. So it's a lot of fun. Joey, the one thing that is different with the Countdown Cup, we got a break from it for a little bit. It is back. It is the dreaded hero pools, which, again, why is it called a hero pool when you can't play them? We're not going to go into that. Echo, Ash, Sigma, and Lucio. Joey, on our podcast Game On DC, we talked about this a little bit, about what we're expecting for bans. I do believe we predicted 3 out of the 4. I know we put Echo in there, Sigma, and Lucio between us. Ash doesn't really surprise me. I was thinking maybe a McCree. But overall, the bans here going into the Countdown Cup, pretty much exactly what we expected.
Yeah, and some of them do hurt us as Justice fans a little bit too. Echo is a big one. Assassin has been the best Echo in the league, in my humble opinion, and I believe statistically as well when we look at the Overwatch League in total. He's just been phenomenal on that Echo. He's been a huge game changer, able to use a lot of ultimates very effectively out of it. On top of that, Fury, Sigma also taken off the board. Fury has been such a strong Sigma, not only using those ultimates to be really game changers around certain points of the map, but also just really effective shield usage, really effective boulders to clear doorways. I think we're really going to miss the Sigma as well as the Echo this week. Lucio is going to hurt us a bit too, but at the same point, I think we can work around it.
Absolutely. Let's just go ahead and take a look at the starting lineups. Jake is currently MIA. We can confirm he is not casting this game. He will be playing in this game. Jake did a fantastic job the other year casting Overwatch League, and we are super excited to see him back. He's a fan favorite. I know a lot of people across Overwatch League are a fan of Jake, regardless of what team he's on. So it is exciting to see Jake back in the lineup. Then also, you have Dan Happy, Dreamer, Piggy, and Crimzo on the side for the Outlaws, rounding out that side. Again, that's a side that's 9-3, a very, very tough Houston Outlaws team. A lot of expectations on their end. Chat, we were reading what you guys were typing before the stream kicked off. A lot of people are saying, the LA Valiant are gonna be the team to watch for as well in the playoffs. I think that's a very valid point as well. I don't know if Spitfire or Titans is a serious prediction there, but we'll go with that. But
I don't think it is.
Anywho,
I would hope not.
No. Who knows? Anything can happen. All you got to do is qualify for the playoffs. I mean, we saw what this Justice team did last year. They came in as one of the lower ranked seeds, and they almost ran the table. I mean, this was a team that took the league by storm. And now, obviously, with the Washington Justice, they have a star-studded roster with 2 amazing rookies, with a Rookie of the Year contender. I think I'm just going to give it to him in Mag. And right there on your screen, you see the starting lineup for the Washington Justice: Decay, Assassin, Mag, Fury, Bebe, and Closer. Your starting 6 for the Washington Justice. They are 8-4, currently in the overall standings, 5th in the Western Conference. Joey, and we talked about a little bit about how these bans are going to hurt the Justice here a little bit, mainly that Sigma ban. It's going to be interesting to see how they adapt. Sigma has come in clutch a lot of times for Fury, and it's changed a lot of team fights in favor of the Justice and helped turn around a lot of these matches and pull out these big wins. It's going to be interesting to see how they fill in that gap that's left by that Sigma ban.
Yeah, absolutely. That, as well as the Echo ban, I think is going to be a big one to watch out for with Assassin. I'm going to assume he's going to get placed on Sombra here. We did see him play some Sombra early on. I believe it was before the June Joust bans came out. where we eventually did see him move over to that Echo. So I think he'll migrate back to Sombra. I think it'll work pretty well. Jerry also plays a pretty good Sombra for the Justice. So overall, I think those are the things to watch for. Fury, we know, plays many of other picks. We've seen him on Zarya quite a bit. I believe he's played a lot of Diva this season, in recent weeks, that is, as well. Going over to Assassin, though, that's going to be the bigger question mark, and I think the answer is going to be Sombra.
Absolutely. Saw it on your screen. Map 1 is going to be Ilios. Started out with nice little control on Ilios for tonight's matchup for the Houston Outlaws and Washington Justice. Joey, control maps are well, so it's kind of funny. Full disclosure, Game on DC, we interviewed Supreme, the head coach of the Washington Justice, and we talked a little bit about some of the struggles the Justice have had on maps, mainly hybrid and escort maps. And a little tidbit he gave us was, while this Justice team struggles on escort and hybrid maps, during scrims, they are absolutely steamrolling teams. But for whatever reason, when it comes to playing on stage, they're just unable to get it going. And then also in scrims, Control's their worst map. I think that blew my mind when Supreme told me that, because of how well they've played Control maps on the stage here in the Overwatch League. It just blows my mind, that little inside information he gave us.
Well, and that's such a big thing. Regardless if it's Overwatch or a different game, a lot of teams will play differently in a scrim environment versus on stage. Now, obviously, with COVID-19 going around, we're not technically on stage, but still on the virtual stage. It is a different feeling for these players, for the coaching staff, for everyone involved, including us as fans as we get started here on the first point of Ilios.
Yeah, Tracer and Sombra for Decay and Assassin. Pretty much part for the course. We saw that all the way back in the first stage at the start of the season. It's a deadly duo. Those two characters on those two players.
And it does look like we're going to get that start we expected. Well, Fury will be on Diva and Assassin will start out on Sombra.
And Daneth just picking up some kills, and that's a pretty decent push there for the Outlaws. It's 16% complete for the Washington Justice on the initial cap. The Outlaws will take over control of the first point here on Ilios.
Absolutely. Some really good tracers in play today. Decay being one of the best tracers in the league. Dante as well, a phenomenal tracer. So it'll be very interesting to see how they go head-to-head in this one, as both are going back and forth right now as far as the percentage goes on this first point.
And Dreamer up top trying to do some more damage. Dante taking down Closer as well. Both Brigettes dropping for both teams. And Decay has that pulse bomb ready to go, just unable to get it. Happy will use the EMP. Catches 2 on the side of the Justice. So they're making their way through 40% now. The Justice were making some progress trying to recap that point. That will go ahead and reset as the Outlaws tick closer and closer to 50% complete.
Yeah, looking for this next fight, though. The Justice do have quite a few ultimates to work with. Decay's Tracer Pulse Bomb is up. Assassin has that EMP, and Fury also with the Diva Bomb. So quite a few that they can use to clear this point coming up here soon. For the side of the Outlaws, Jake does have that Brigitte ult. The rally is available.
There's the EMP from Assassin. Catching Piggy and Jake. Decay and Fury are going to try to make the most out of that EMP, taking 2 down from the Outlaws. Decay off from the side, looking for more. So now the Outlaws are through 80% here on the first point. The Justice so close to recapping here.
Yeah, credit where credit is due, though. Jake lasted so long there, as well as Dante's Tracer. The Justice not able to kill them off in time, and it really drained a lot of point as the Outlaws were able to tick that one all the way up to 88%.
It's a good hack on to Dreamer from Assassin. Dante has that pulse bomb ready to go as well. Pulse bomb is down. Doesn't get anyone, gets Fury out of the mech at least. The Justice are fighting hard up to 99% for the Outlaws. They're looking to hold on. The Justice doing everything they can to try to get back onto the point. Jake, once known for his Junkrat play, playing DPS for the Outlaws, now playing support on that Brig. Something we've seen before. And the Outlaws will take the first point, 100% to 29. The Justice had several opportunities to try to get back into this one. Unfortunately, the team fights just unable to go to the distance. They got close to recapping multiple times, but kudos to the Outlaws. They held on. They fought. Even when the numbers were against them, they were able to play those angles. The positioning was fantastic from the Outlaws, and that is what essentially got them the first point.
Absolutely. Outlaws corralling the first win here. As far as points go, the map is still uncontested. When we look at it overall, though, the Justice on these control points, we mentioned how they do struggle a little bit more on control in scrims, but have looked very good online so far on these map types. They typically do drop the first point, though, John. That has been a very constant, very consistent thing for the Justice here. So I'm not concerned with them dropping 1 point. We are heading on to that second point. Let's see if they can hold it together and pull it back like we've seen so many 2-1s come in their favor before.
On to the second point. Fury switching back over to that Devo. As the point is about to unlock, the fighting will continue. In that middle ground next to the lighthouse. Fury looking to go up to the high ground to try to push the Outlaws back.
Outlaws continue to tick this one up. The Justice getting close, about halfway on a recap, but not able to close it out yet.
Up to 20% for the Outlaws. The Justice are trying to find their way onto that control point. They need to get on there quick and try to get control back. This Outlaws team, as we saw in the first point, is very good at holding once they have that point secured.
And this does look like it should be a recap coming in for the Justice here if they can melt through this Wrecking Ball quick enough.
And there it is, 39% done for the Outlaws. Now it's time for the Justice to try to take it up there. They will look to hold on at this point as long as possible.
And that is a pretty good, clean recap coming out there. On the side of the Outlaws, they are getting some ultimates, getting pretty close here, around 60 or higher for most players. Dante does have that Pulse Bomb available. For the side of the Justice, Mag will have his ult available, as well as Bebe's Ana.
Dante's Pulse Bombs are going to be enough to hold the Justice off the point. Oh, pardon me. It will be enough to hold it there for the Justice. They're trying to get back on to the point. They are holding. They have now matched the Houston Outlaws and beaten them now. It's now over 40% for the Justice. They're doing everything they can to try to hold on to the point. Happy has that EMP ready to go. In fact, it's 4 ultimates on the side of the Outlaws ready to go. Happy, Dreamer, Piggy, and Crimzo all with their ultis up and ready to go. Just 2 on the side of the Justice, but 2 more just behind them. Assassin and Mag good to go. Decay and Fury not too far behind.
Yeah, there's going to be ultimates up across the board, it looks like, for both sides. Possibly even 6 available for the Outlaws in this next fight. I think if you're the Justice, you try to bait them out quickly here, then you regroup, use your own ultimates to recap this point. It is continuing to tick up, though, as Houston Outlaws get close to 65%.
Both EMPs come out for both sides, and it's 3 caught in the EMP from Happy from the Justice, and that is going to not go well for the Justice. That's going to be a full team wipe if Assassin gets away. That is okay, but my goodness, the Justice, 4 got caught in that EMP, and that lost in the team fight.
Yeah, EMP, when Sombra's in meta, it can become such a game changer, and you see it right there, as it's going to allow Houston to tick this all the way up to 99% here.
Now into overtime. Dante's got that Pulse Bomb down, ready to go. Just does a little damage here, not enough. Fury puts the self-destruct in on the point. Still not enough. Mag on Winston going primal, trying to knock the Outlaw players off the point. They're starting to run out of time. That meter dropping all the way down. That's going to be a clean 2-0 win for the Outlaws on Ilios to start off the series.
That's a tough one, John. Again, we usually, I'm not going to say usually, but a lot of the times we have dropped that first point and then we have a very strong comeback on the second point. This one we started out decently. I believe we tied right around 43% if I remember correctly. But in the end, the Outlaws able to recapture and the Justice not able to get back on there as the Outlaws did a very good job using their ult economy, matching what the Justice had available.
Absolutely. Again, this Outlaw team, very, very good. As we've said before, this is a roster that is 9-3 overall. They've played incredibly well throughout the entire season, even with hero pools, even without hero pools. Just a tough, tough team. And this Justice team now with their back against the wall here, being down 1 in the series. We'll have to look to bounce it back on everyone's favorite theme park in Blizzard World coming up next.
Yeah, I'm a little mixed on Blizzard World.
I'm not a huge fan of Blizzard World. It's probably one of my least favorite maps, in all honesty.
Yeah, it is a tough one. There are definitely some choke points on that map that are difficult to work your way through, whether you're playing in quick play or competitive or on the stage here in the Overwatch League. We've seen players of all different makes really struggle on that map from time to time.
Absolutely. So Ilios going in favor of the Outlaws. Not the start we wanted, and I'm sorry, Ryan Force, your bold prediction is already wrong. It's not going to be a 3-0 sweep.
A little too bold.
I mean, it was spicy, it was bold, it was flavorful, but it just wasn't, in all honesty, reality. So again, kudos for the bold prediction. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But yeah, so Ilios in favor of the Outlaws. Up next is Blizzard World, Joey. It's a hybrid map. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see if they're able to that time off. If they've been working on hybrid and escort maps. If they've been working on trying to right that ship, because this is a place where the Justice have really, really struggled. And going into the playoffs, it's all about momentum. If you are on a winning path going into the playoffs, regardless of where you are in the standings, as long as you make it into the playoffs, you can ride that momentum. It's big. It's not just a traditional sport thing. It's very much a thing in esports as well. It's a mentality. You're feeling good. You perform better. That's what we want. We want to see this Justice team continue to improve, especially on the escort and hybrid maps. And this is going to be our first opportunity to see it in this stage of the season against a tough team like the Outlaws.
Absolutely. And you guys have been here all season. You guys have seen the same struggles we have. And again, for certain maps like this on hybrid, especially historically, at least this season, we've done very well capturing the point and defending the point. It's the escort portion that we seem to struggle on. If teams are able to capture the point, they seem to escort pretty effectively against us. And on the offensive side, we have a very hard time pushing the payload the full distance. So those are the improvements we're looking toward as we get closer to whether it be the Countdown Cup or the playoffs later down the line. We need to see the team continue to make strides in those areas.
Absolutely. And I'm seeing some more predictions come in here on the chat from the official Washington Justice YouTube channel. 3-1 prediction for the Justice. I like that as well. Super, super solid prediction there. We got the one part out of the way. Now let's go ahead and get those 3. That would be really nice. I would really, really, really like that right now. But again, I think the Justice performed well. I think they're still, I'm not going to say they're still trying to figure out the current meta. I feel like they played well. They just weren't able to finish those team fights. That was kind of like that Achilles heel moment back on Ilios. But again, like you said, a lot of great points there for hybrid maps. Capturing the point has never been an issue. It's been that push mode. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think they have a great chance here. And I'm still mind blown that Supreme said that, this mode in Scrim is like a breeze for him, but whatever reason, camera's on, can't do it. Anywho, we'll see if that practice is paid off. They did have several weeks off here. I'm super excited to see what they do on Blizzard World.
Absolutely. So as we get ready to load into this next map, John, let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing so far as those hero bans coming out to the hero pool. as they do call it here in the Overwatch League. So one of the big ones we predicted was Assassin having that Echo band. We are seeing Sombra come out. I think he played it pretty effectively in that last game. Some decent EMPs coming out overall. It just felt like the team as a whole wasn't quite able to capitalize them enough to get momentum in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I hate hero bans. I'm so tired of them. No, I think you made some solid good points here. Let me go ahead and throw this back in because they're finally back from break. And they're showing some pretty interesting stats here. They highlighted this on the official Overwatch League Twitter page earlier today. Piggy and Fury, top 10 best divas in the and not diva in like diva, but diva as in the hero diva. In the league here. Actually, according to IBM Watson, they're tied in the power rankings. They're technically tied at 103 points each, according to Watson. So they should technically both be 5 in the power rankings, but whatever. We'll go ahead and let it slide.
Maybe there's a decimal system we don't know of in these power rankings. But yeah, Piggy just slightly above, supposedly in the standings. But hopefully when it comes down to this matchup, Fury will be the one ending up on top today.
Absolutely, and that all starts now with map 2. They got a little groundwork to work on here. Dropping the first one, something we haven't seen too often. Dropping the control map to start off the series, especially dropping it 2-0. Justice just working on that meta, working on that communication, and then building that confidence, and then they'll be looking forward to what comes for the remainder here of the series. Dreamer is subbed out. Jangju in for the Outlaws. So there is your one swap on the side of the Justice. No substitutions going into the second map, which again, of course, is Blizzard World. Joey and mine's favorite map of all time in Overwatch.
If you guys can't sense the sarcasm, there is a little bit there.
Dripping with sarcasm.
Blizzard World is one of those maps we have definitely struggled with here and there. There's just a lot of intricacies to it, especially the way you approach points in choke hold point areas. Overall, the Justice have done, I'd say, pretty mixed bag on this map. Overall, we've seen some pretty good successes. We've also seen them get stomped on a few escorts here and there around the crystal portion of the map. Overall, capture-wise, I feel like we've done pretty well overall on our time so far in this map this season. Again, we go over this pretty much every co-stream. The question for us is not the capture. It's going to be the escort portion. So we're expecting pretty good captures. If you do guys remember back to, I believe it was May or June, when we did, it had to be May because of the bans, but the Sombra play from Jerry and Assassin on this map back in May was absolutely phenomenal. Now Sombra back in the meta, no longer banned out. It'll be interesting to see how that does end up playing out.
Justice will be on the attack first. Outlaws coming out with Tracer, 76, Wrecking Ball, Diva, Zenyatta, and Brig. The Justice currently looking like Decay will stay with Tracer and Assassin. Looks like we'll stay with Sombra as well. And there you go. The Justice are undefeated, 2-0 on Blizzard World this season. The Outlaws have yet to win here, Joey. Those are stats I can work with. Those are stats from this season, not from 2019. Thank you, Blizzard, for actually giving us stats we can work with. Don't mind the random ball up on the red roof there. I mean, it's definitely not being camouflaged. I feel like everyone can see it, but you may not be looking up at the roof. I mean, who aims that high up?
Yeah, this is interesting positioning and not really shooting anything, just kind of waiting for that moment, allowing the Justice to move forward, and then planning to jump down and really get some nice weight down on that slam. But it's just right now, just a lot of time just sitting on that roof, it feels like.
He's rolling over. He's going in. Look it up. Okay. That was anticlimactic. He missed everyone. Like, if you're going to go, like, super secret agent on a roof with Wrecking Ball and drop down, at least get the slam onto somebody. Like, come on.
Yeah, that feels a little bit hashtag not worth, as the Justice are now moving on to the point. They are going to get the first tick. So thank you, Wrecking Ball, for allowing us some nice positioning here. Moving toward that second tick as well now.
So upsetting. You know what, Outlaws? You deserve to lose this point. The Justice are just going to absolutely steamroll into the point here. And then we will go from there. Just drives me up a wall. An Assassin, of course, on Sombra. just doing absolute damage. Now it is time for everyone's favorite phase of Blizzard World. Let's push a cart. 5 minutes.
I mean, we're no
bank.
prophets, John, but we did see this coming. We said, again, no issue with the capture portion. As you see, guys, they take it very quickly. Now they have 5 full minutes to work on the pushing part of this map. The escort portion being that struggle. We'll see how they approach it this time. So far, I'm really liking the aggression we're seeing from the Justice. They waited around at the beginning. They found their initiative. Then they quickly moved on to that point. I want to see them approach the cart slightly the same way. Keep at least one person on that cart to keep it moving, but look for those initiatives. Look for someone on the Outlaws to overstep and take advantage.
That cart is making some serious progress here. The Outlaws really not putting too much pressure on the Justice. They're looking to hold that high ground on the bridge. Decay has that pulse bomb ready to go. Happy has his ultimate up as well on 76, which is the only legal form of aimbot ever known to man. Soldier 76.
So which roof? Oh, Wrecking Ball is not on a roof this time. Actually down on the ground. Let's see if he changes that tactic up.
It's not hiding on a roof. Wait, what? Cart currently parked under that first initial bridge, starting to make a little more move here as Dante has the pulse bomb ready to go as well. 4 ultis, pardon me, on the side of the Outlaws. 5, soon to be 6 on the side of the Justice. This is where
currently no one on the cart still. Now we do have someone back on there. It looks like Decay is going to be over there, unfortunately going down in doing so, but we did finally touch that cart again for the first time in a bit.
3:30 to go. Ult management here is really going to become critical. We have 12 players in the game, and we have 12 ultimates currently up and ready to go.
Yeah, it's kind of got a little bit of that Cold War feeling right now as everyone just waits for someone to pop theirs first at the moment. They're eventually going to come raining down into Fury.
And Fury goes first, followed by Mag. Piggy, Happy, and Crimzo also popping theirs. And now Closer activates his Brig ult. It's just ults on ults on ults. It's 3 caught inside of Assassin's EMP. Decay taking down Piggy out of the mech and Dante as well. Decay just coming in from all angles. Fury getting in on the action as well. That is a big, big fight here for the Justice. That's going to continue to push that cart to reach that first point on the push phase. Now they will go for the last point here, point 3 on Blizzard World, and they have just under 4 minutes to do it.
And this is what we want to see, Justice fam. We have been stuck on that cart, that portion of this cart push a few times so far this season, now able to actually make it past that point, able to get onto this final third of the map, and we'll see what they can do here as they currently have 2 pushing the cart, 3:35-ish to work with here, and they are just working their way to that final point.
Decay was hiding in the corner. He definitely wasn't trying the roof strategy, but he was hiding off to the side. He's going to have that pulse bomb ready to go here for this next fight as well. Decay taking on Piggy, holding him back to the side. Kind of a weird positioning here. The Justice caught in the middle. The Outlaws kind of split, a couple behind the cart, couple in front of the cart. Seems like it might be paying off for him. Decay's trying to escape with his life. Drake, Crimson, and Dante pick up kills, and Decay finally drops down. The Justice will have to reset. Under 3 minutes to go.
Time continuing to tick down, but those ult meters continuing to tick up. Mag's ult is now available on the Wrecking Ball. Bebe's ult available as well, and Fury getting very close to that Diva ult too. On the side of the Outlaws, they're going to have a Wrecking Ball ult, a Tracer ultimate, Soldier 76 close to a Diva. Actually, they have a lot of tools, and I don't want to keep going over them because the Outlaws are definitely in a better position to defend here, but the Justice starting to tick up those meters as well before the next fight.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll have one fight with 11 ults again, like chat's pointing out there. I mean, that was just absolutely ridiculous.
It's definitely working its way up there. It's going to be pretty close here.
Absolutely. There's Piggy. Jake not far behind the Outlaws, 5 out of 6. Justice not too far behind. Closer's going to get his next. Fury's going to pop the self-destruct. Not much comes out of that. Fury losing his life. After that ult goes off, now Bebe with the Transcendence. Cart kind of stalled here a little bit past the halfway point, going over to the third point. For the Justice Decay, just waiting a chance to use that Pulse Bomb, but Happy's aimbot's going to come through and take Decay down.
Looks like they are just going to regroup here. About a minute left on this push. There's still some time to work with. Decay does have that Pulse Bomb up. Sombra EMP should be up for this next fight, as well as Closer's Rally.
The Outlaws trying to hold that high ground. They want to get the visual advantage as well. Justice going to have to try to peek around that corner. And it's 45 seconds to go. Try to push it to the end of the map. And we saw back at the start of this map that this is one of the better ones for the Justice, 2-0 so far in the season. The Outlaw have yet to win at Blizzard World. And Justice really struggling to get around that initial corner.
Interesting
again.
EMP coming out there. I believe it just hit the Wrecking Ball, no one else.
Decay still holding on to that Pulse Bomb. Now under 10 seconds for this initial push. Be heading into overtime next. The EMP is out. Doesn't catch anyone. Happy able to take down Fury. Dante doing everything he can as well to hold the Justice off. Has that Pulse Bomb. It's down. Doesn't catch anyone. Happy and Grimza both take down Bebe and Closer. And Happy, again, activating that legal aimbot in game. Takes down several players. That will secure it for the Outlaws. The Justice unable to complete the push. They got pretty far, though. I was very impressed with that push. I think we saw a lot of things have improved since the last time we saw the Justice. I believe it was back on Hollywood several weeks ago. It felt so long ago, Joey. I don't like these 3-week breaks in Overwatch League. It just
yeah, definitely some improvements overall. 71.26 meters pushed here. I believe last time we were on this map, we did not get to that first point as far as the escort portion went. So still making progress, continuing to improve on the escort portion, able to move that card a little bit farther than we typically do. So we'll take that as a win for now. Now time to look at the defensive side of this map. This first point can either go very quick for teams or very slow. The Justice historically have defended it pretty decently. So we'll see how they set up here, as we do have a slightly different comp due to the bans coming out. Assassin will be sticking with that Sombra, it looks like, and Fury on that Diva.
We'll see if Mag hides on top of the roof also. Well, I mean, I have a feeling if Mag does, he'll be able to complete that maneuver better than we saw from the Outlaws. Again, a very lackluster performance there, hopping off of the roof. But we'll see if Mag wants to do the same thing here.
Yeah, I really hope we don't match the roof jumping strategy. I don't feel like that worked too effectively. As much as I do enjoy the hamster just kind of doing his thing up there on the roof for a good, well, I don't even know. It felt like a full minute into that match. We'll see how they set up. It's going to be a little bit differently, as we do see a couple last-minute changes come in. It looks like that Zenyatta is going to come out for Crimzo on the side of the Outlaws. No changes for the Justice, as they are set up and ready to defend.
Justice playing a lot farther back on point to start off this map. Definitely different than what we saw from the Outlaws, that really wanted to push up and hold that initial choke point at the very start, if you will, of the entryway into this capture zone. Words.
Yeah, absolutely.
Words.
And I mean, I feel like I personally prefer that style of pushing up. The only issue with it is if anyone gets past you. With Sombra being in the meta, a Sombra can get past, can get a hack off. Depending how long it took, there might even be an EMP available. So Sombra really does change things up and can make it very ineffective for teams to hold up close. The Justice deciding to just opt in for the farther holdback. It's working out all right so far. Houston is starting to move up, though, about, it looks like 1 point fully captured. The second one is going to tick back down before it is finished.
Through 2 tick marks. Making their way through the third. The Outlaws trying to push. The Justice trying to hold. May just not be enough time as that spawn is a long distance away from this initial point. And they'll have roughly the same time bank as the Justice did, maybe a few seconds less as they're already under 5 minutes for this initial push phase. And they're just now starting to get it going. The Justice causing some issues here at the start of the push phase for the Outlaws.
Yeah, Outlaws just a little bit behind the timing of the Justice, I feel like, as well, John. In the end, they are starting to get it to push now, though. Ultimate-wise, they do have a few available. They have the Wrecking Ball, the Sombra EMP, which we've seen be such a difference maker in today's game, as well as Dante's Tracer Pulse Bomb. On the side of the Justice, Bebe, Closer, and Assassin with ults up as well.
Cart continuing to push for the Outlaws. Justice are looking to hold that high ground for advantage. Happy comes in.
Looks like Assassin is looking for a little bit of a cheeky play here as well, hopefully trying to find an EMP.
Dante picking up a couple kills himself. That Cart continuing to push. Has that pulse bomb ready to go. Drops it down. Won't catch anyone, but allows some more damage to go down for his teammates to follow up on. Piggy taking down Closer as well. That Cart continues to push. Definitely pushing a little bit more effectively than what we saw from the Justice.
Yeah, overall, the Justice had a pretty good push, but they did get caught under this bridge for quite a while, and that's when we had that nice, like, 12-man ultimate action going on. In the end, they are able to push it out, though. It looks a little bit faster paced than what we saw from the Justice, but they haven't captured it just yet.
DK's Pulse Bomb not getting anyone either. They're so close to hitting that first checkpoint here on the push phase. The Outlaws doing everything they can. The Justice are looking to match that. They're trying to delay this push as much as possible. They want that time
Nice
bank.
little hold there. Starting to move that Cart back as well, it looks like.
Happy looking to get the hack off onto Fury. Decay with the Discord Orb on him. Now Fury with the Discord Orb. From Crimzo is Happy. Teleports back on Sombra. A little bit of a stalemate here. I mean, it's a little bit farther than what we saw from that 11 ult fight earlier. But both teams struggling to get to this first point. The Outlaws not too far away, under 3 meters to go. Decay with that Pulse Bomb ready to go here for the next team fight.
Yeah, pretty good EMP coming out there from Happy, and the ultimates are going to start to fall now as they're popping from just about everyone. Houston not able to push this Cart forward anymore yet, though still not capturing this point. 1:30 left on the clock.
Baby getting the double kill on Jake and Crimzo. It's one way to use Zenyatta. I like it. Both teams will reset just over a minute here in this push. If the Justice can continue to hold here, they have a great chance of finishing this map and evening the series. As we just saw there, ultimates not a lot up currently, but those percentages getting really, really close here for the Justice. Fury,
absolutely
baby.
Continuing to tick up. Fury getting very close. Decay's Pulse Bomb is now up. Decay usually uses this one pretty quick as well.
He's holding that high ground, waiting to come in on that last team fight. 30 seconds to go here on Blizzard World. And the Justice are looking for a solid hold here. The self-destruct coming in from Piggy doesn't catch anyone. Decay still being patient. Under 10 seconds. The hack from Happy is down. And now all the ults seem like they're coming out. Dante and Piggy picking up kills on Fury and Mag. The tank line is down for the Justice. And they will be able to push it in overtime up to that check mark. The good news, they have less than $130 to try to match the Justice. All it's going to take is one really good team fight and a hold from the Justice. They should be able to close this one out, but they have to stop the Outlaws. They have to stop them quick because it's really not that far to go.
Absolutely. It's definitely not going to be an easy job to get done here. The Justice do have a couple ultimates to work with, some big ones in Assassin, Sombra, EMP. That is going to be a big one, as well as Fury's Diva ultimate. Closer is getting pretty close as well, ticking up toward 94% now. On the side of the Outlaws, they will have a Wrecking Ball ult to work with. The rest quite a ways away for now, but again, 53 seconds left on the clock. There's still time to charge them up.
Assassin with that EMP ready to go. A good EMP here could definitely turn the team fight in favor of the Justice. If he can team that up with Decay's Pulse Bomb, could mean a victory here for the Justice. Assassin being patient. Decay and Fury taking down Jake and Jiangju.
That is big. They did have to use some ultimates for that takedown, but they still have the EMP available, and Houston is only going to have time for about one more push here with 15 seconds left on the clock.
Dante drops to Assassin, who's still holding on to that EMP. He's going to wait for this last fight. That cart is so close to getting where it needs to go for the Outlaws. Here comes Assassin coming in. Look for the EMP. There it is. Catches 3 in the EMP. Oh, pardon me. That was Happy's EMP that caught 3. That was Assassin, Mag, and Fury that got caught. It was a double EMP from both Sombras. And Dante is hacked. That's big. That Pulse Bomb is not going to be in play here for the next few seconds. There it comes. Uses it as soon as it goes. And they're able to cap it at the last second. For a moment, I thought maybe they moved off the cart just a little bit. I was hoping for the C9 play, but we didn't see it. They are able to complete Blizzard World, and it's down 2-0 in the series now for the Washington Justice. That is just tough. That was this Justice team is known for great defense. We've talked about it before here on the Coach Stream. Holding has never really been an issue. Especially here on Blizzard World, like we just saw, both times they were able to hold all the way down into overtime at the first point on the push phase, at the end point here for the Outlaws as well. Took them to overtime, took them their full time bank. It's just that one last team fight. That's the issue. And came up again, the last hold, just unable to go through for the Justice. And Houston squeaks out a win here in map 2 and goes up 2-0 in the series.
Not only just one hold, though, John, 2 holds. We were so close to finishing off before they hit that first point on the escort portion, barely getting it off because of all the ultimates available. Then at the end, it looked like we were going to get it done. Assassin even playing conservative, saving that EMP for that final fight. Unfortunately, it was matched by the Outlaws with Happy's EMP as well coming out and doing just as much damage, if not more, as they do take down the Justice. John, inches, a game of inches, and unfortunately, we just slightly off measurement there as we do drop that second map.
Game of inches that are not going in favor of the Justice right now. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So Ilios and Blizzard World going in favor of the Outlaws. Up next is everyone's favorite route. It's Route 66. It is an escort map, Joey, because they always have to go back to back because my anxiety level goes up whenever this happens, so they know exactly why they're doing it. Escort map time. Super excited for it. Oh, boy. So Route 66, the Justice have done better on for when it comes to escort maps. It's not Junkertown. That one is, we won't even talk about it. I don't want to bring that kind of bad energy, that bad vibe in here from Junkertown. But I do feel better on Route 66 on the escort phase here. But again, in the back of my mind, I got that voice telling me that, hey, it's an escort map and you're down 2-0 already in this series. If these struggles continue to go, I don't know. This is a must win. It is a must win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just comes down to that. Like we look at this matchup overall, this is a team just slightly above us in the standings, and we've been pretty close. Unfortunately, the control map not quite going our way, but when we look at the hybrid map, we played better than we typically do on hybrid maps. Again, we've historically done decently on Blizzard World, but it's not been great. We do come out with wins here and there. This one, unfortunately, just barely a loss, but now getting our move to that escort map, a map type we've traditionally struggled with a bit this season, but continuing to show improvements time and time again. Of those escort maps, I feel like, and I think you mentioned this, Route 66 is probably one of our best ones out there. We've seen some nice turns in series on this style map. I believe it was the Dallas Fuel just a couple weeks ago where we ended up turning a series around on the same map. So looking at this, it's another Texas team. It's another escort on Route 66. Maybe we can see some of that same magic come out here when we load into this one. At the same point, I do like, again, a loss is a loss on a map, but I do like the improvements we continue to see on these types of maps as we get closer to whether it be the Countdown Cup or the playoffs next up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like the fact that Justice had a little bit more time to adapt to this current meta, and plus, Overwatch League, a round of applause for you real quick. Thank you for releasing the hero pool a full week in advance of the game starting and not 2 days before the game start. I think that helped a lot of teams out across the board, those extra days to practice to figure out what that new meta was going to be with the hero pool. The first time we saw it, it was an absolute disaster. Borderline unfair for any team that played that first week. I believe that was the June Joust. So, definitely gave them more time to figure it out. They look better. They feel comfortable in this meta. You're seeing them perform well. It's just that last fight to seal the win. That's where the issues are coming in, whether it's positioning, whether it's ult economy. That just feels like is the next to last step that they need to figure out. And then these escort maps, these hybrid maps, I feel like will start going in favor of the Justice. It feels like they're at that point, especially if they're doing this against a tough Houston Outlaws team. That last team fight, you get that figured out, you're able to shut them down at that first push point on Blizzard World. You're able to hold them at that last point before they're able to match or beat you by 0.1 to take the map. That's what you need to do. You need to figure out that last team fight, and then you're golden. You're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're looking forward to. Again, win or loss, ideally, we want the win. We're Justice fans. We want to see them come out. We would even love to see that 3-0 that Reinforce ended up predicting as his bold prediction for today. Unfortunately, not quite going that way at the moment as we do find ourselves down 0-2. With that being said, getting closer to the Countdown Cup, potentially being in it, getting closer to playoffs with that potential of being in there as well. We need to continue to show that consistent improvement. So far, it's been coming up pretty well. As John said, we're approaching this phase of the hero pool a little bit better than we did in the June Joust. Partly that timing of us getting an idea of what that ends up looking like as far as who the bans are. But part of that is just adjustment of the team mentality as well. And a big shout out to the coaching staff for getting that job done as the team does look prepared. We are pushing the Outlaws to the limit. And again, this is a team just slightly above us in the standings. So overall, we are technically kind of boxing above our weight in a sense as far as the standings go. On even paper, though, I feel like both these teams are pretty close. And so far today, we are showcasing that. I personally want to take a win, though, John. I want to take a win not only in the series, but at least in this map. And I think this is where we got to turn it around right here on Route 66.
Yeah, people only like 3-0ing other teams. You don't like being 3-0'd yourself. It's never fun. Whether it's competitive Overwatch League, whether you're playing quick play, whether you're playing comp mode, you just don't like it. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when you get 3-0'd. It's not fun. This team still coming together. They're playing incredibly well. Again, Supreme talked about it in our interview we had with them this past week, and it's something that does take time. This was a roster that was put together right before the season started, and they're coming together. And they had several moments where they have had those light bulb moments where, like, yes, okay, this is working. They're seeing those signs of improvement, and I think if you're a Justice fan, you can see those signs of improvement as well. We highlighted several back there on Blizzard World. So you have to be super excited with what we're seeing from this Justice team going forward. But nonetheless, they are down 2-0 in the series after dropping Ilios and Blizzard World. We're heading over to Route 66. And of course, they have to put time bank numbers up here, dating all the way back to 2019. Joey was a wee lad back in 2019. I mean, I don't feel like these stats can even count. Like, it's just, it's a different team. Come on. Give me some stats I can work with like you did on Blizzard World. That's all I want.
Yeah, 2019, and it's the San Francisco Shock they're showing as well, who's been up toward the top of the league every single time, it feels like. Yeah, in the end, 2019 stats, throw them out the window. Welcome to 2021. We are heading into Route 66 here shortly. John, we need to see the Justice get the job done on this map to keep this series alive.
It is going to come down to this. Justice fans, give the team your energy. They are going to need it. Their backs are against the wall. And Route 66 is where the comeback starts.
Matthias is over there calling me out in chat. We start the game hyped up and the game ends like Courtside King, at least a map we have to win. But hey, guys, I want at least a map win. I personally want the series win. I said it there. But how do we get the series win? We have to start with a map win. So let's get it kicked off here on Route 66 on an escort map. The escort map that has been our struggle so far this season. Now is the time to get it done. Now is the time to continue to improve on those improvements we've been making week after week. Let's win this map. Then from there, we can go on to win the series, but we got to take this map first.
God, this stat. Escort is the Justice's worst map type. 42% win rate. 5-7 this season, but they are undefeated on Route 66, 3-0. We said it before. This is their best escort map, period. End of story. The stats back it up. But Matthias Joey is probably my MVP of the chat right now, just because I enjoy I enjoy him pointing that out. That was awesome. Have to win at least one. The comeback starts with one. That's all you need. You get the one win. That could be momentum. Who knows? Anubis and Li Jiang are maps 4 and 5. I mean, those are both maps that the Justice perform incredibly well on. So it feels like, oh, hey, you know what, Joey? How about we pause? I'm gonna throw this out here. This has to be a Texas thing, absolutely. Because if you were watching the match before this, how many pauses did we have in that Dallas series? Like 8, 9, it felt like. And now here we go again with another pause. I feel like the internet in Texas just isn't there yet. I'm calling them out.
Yeah, we just went there. We went.
I'm calling Texas out. Everything's bigger and better in Texas, but the internet.
Texas internet down there on Route 66. Well, we got off to a good start there, John. We did fire some bullets before the pause came out.
Pew, pew.
But from there, it does look like we are going to have a slight break here, depending. Not sure what the issue is. It looks like it might be on Dante's side, potentially.
Which would confirm issues in Texas. And once we figure out what is going on there, we'll hopefully be jumping back into Route 66 here in the next few moments. It's not too much of a long delay. The Bebe, poor Bebe. Like, these face cams, like this Justice team has such great body language. Like, I feel like you can exactly tell what they're going through with these face cams. Bebe is just not happy so far. And this is great. Assassin's numbers as Sombra. Again, Sombra, when Assassin pulled the Sombra out all the way back in the May Melee, super excited. It was an off-meta pick considered at the time and quickly became a meta pick because of how great Assassin and several other DPS players were able to play her in that meta. And right here, you see it. Second in enemies hacked, second in hacked assists, second in enemy EMP enemies that were EMP'd, and third in fewest deaths at 2.7 hero damage. I mean, look, 7th is still really good. Don't get me wrong, especially when you have someone like a Decay following you up with damage as well. 7th is respectable, but this is a solid performer on Sombra, and it's just enough cannot be said. You can't say enough, pardon me, about Assassin on Sombra.
Well, a few other things to keep in mind, too. When we saw a lot of the early Sombra coming out for Assassin, it was also ran with Zarya. And Fury Zarya packed in a ton of damage as well, so that was doing a lot of that team damage for the Justice. But yeah, overall, we mentioned it before, Assassin is a very good Sombra. He's also a top Echo in the league. I want to say he is number 1 statistically, not 100% sure on that, but very high up there on his Echo play as well. So in the end, this is a pretty easy transition. It's a bummer seeing him lose Echo because he was playing so well on it in recent weeks, but he's able to transition right back to that Sombra here as well.
We're still taking suggestions for what the Echo Mercy pairing should be called. With Pharah and Mercy, it was Pharmacy. I don't think we have one for Echo and Mercy.
Yeah, chat, what do you got? What is the Echo Mercy combination here? Unfortunately, we won't be seeing any Echo here in the Countdown Cup playthrough due to those bans coming out. But still, it's one of those things that could come back come playoffs, Sean, and it'd be great to have a name available for it.
Well, it has really come down to this. We're trying to come up with pairing names for heroes while we're waiting for the game to be unpaused. Absolutely fantastic. You know, Joey, what we'll do is we'll take a moment here just to remind everyone about the charity event here going on with both of these teams here for the Washington Justice and the Houston Outlaws. They have partnered up for what's being called Outlaws for Justice. For every map the Houston Outlaws win, which so far is 2, the Washington Justice will make a donation to the Big Sister Little Sister Mentorship Foundation. And then for every map the Washington Justice win, they will make a donation to Reign, the organization selected by the Washington Justice as the feed just automatically switched to a video. They didn't give us any warning whatsoever, but they are going to be taking a look at a top 5, I guess, plays. I completely missed the intro of when they switched this. I wish they would give co-streamers a heads up when they're going to do this.
That was a 4K for him in the fight. Look how far forward he is, man. He is frontlining. He is my inspiration. My monk.
Yeah, you build that barrage here, but that's as good as a death sentence against what the Reign have got in their composition. A Hawk can just send his shield at you, and you just die to your own splash damage as well in some cases.
So Atlanta's got a contest point.
2 ticks and counting. Barrage, it's beautiful! It is raining rockets, and Sparkle gets a comfortable 4K there.
It feels like it's been forever since we've seen Pharah in game, though. That was a great highlight.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
That is stunning. Rolls over Fleta, but still gets taken down. He still took a lot of damage from the pulse bomb, even if he used it offensively. It's unreal that these 6 players in blue could be put in this position by anyone, let alone the Hunters. Here's a Graviton Surge, and they are starting to style on them a little bit. Matt, I'm going to be honest. Lei Young is down.
Oh, no.
Nothing could be more Chengdu than what we just saw.
There we go. 2 minutes on the clock for the Dallas Fuel.
I've seen a lot of things. As an Overwatch caster, I'm sure you have too, 5-6 years of this. The Celestial anomaly.
That is so embarrassing.
I have to ask, is that worse than C9ing a payload?
Lip is eyeing up this
That's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad.
Pretty much back cap.
He's going for an EMP. They're going to be dropping right off the edge of the map. He's playing for him with his own life, but Evator's gone. Oh my God! You can see him buying it up
to his death.
They are well over the side. It does look like he's going to get them both. But then Jinwoo's just out. But
where was
the
escape strategy? Look at this. Lip. The post bomb. I mean, Lip didn't have an escape.
It's so interesting. Like these plays, I feel like are some really good plays, and they're definitely highlights, but they're also super cringe for the other team. Like, oof.
Apparently, Jake was watching that too. He was chuckling coming out of that video here for a little bit. Chat, thank you for delivering on some of these suggestions. Sky Queens, Queens of the Sky. Oh, I don't know. See, Matthias is coming up big. He's coming up big. What is that? Mirko? I kind of like that. Mirko sounds kind of cool.
It does look. I think we are loaded back in, John. I think this is not a highlight anymore.
No, we are actually back in, but I do want to get your take on Mirko for the Mercy and Echo combination.
It's not bad. It could work out pretty well there in the end. Queens of the Sky and Sky Queen's not too bad either, so keep those coming, chat. We love them. We'll see what ends up sticking here eventually, because Echo will get out of ban prison at some point, and I'm sure we'll see Assassin back on her as well.
Justice now continuing to push, coming out of that pause. Close to that first checkpoint. Just right around that corner. Happy back on 76. Not quite sure what the pause was about, but regardless, we are back underway. Just a reminder, the Justice are currently down 2 maps to 0. This is a must-win for the Justice. They're going to want to push this as far as possible.
Absolutely. A good initial push coming out here. About 220 left here, just outside of the first checkpoint that they need. And they do have those ultimates starting to tick up here as well. Assassin and Mag about 80% and starting to tick upwards. Bebe does have the Zenyatta ult available as well as DK's Pulse Bomb.
The Outlaws doing a great job holding that high ground once again. It's been a real big key to their success here today against the Justice. Especially back on Blizzard World. We're seeing it again here on Route 66. The Justice are trying to use that gas station for coverage inside as well, trying to peek around. Trying to lay down as much damage as possible.
Oh, almost a really big pick there coming out on Piggy, but not able to get it off as the Zenyatta ult comes through very clutch coming out from Crimzo.
Mag on Wrecking Ball trying to cause a little chaos there in the back line for the Justice. He's going to push the cart all the way to the first checkpoint.
Yeah, and in the end, that's huge. So you end up seeing Piggy get caught out, and they end up sacrificing so much to save Piggy there. You see that Zenyatta ult come out. You see a number of other ultimates coming out. And in the end, Piggy doesn't go down straight away, but eventually does go down as well with a number of teammates. The Justice able to cap that one off. So a really good turnaround play there for the Justice.
Joey, I'm the kind of person that likes answers straight to the point here. Here's another update for your Mercy Echo pairing here. The name is Better Pharmacy. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it kind of mimics Pharmacy a little bit, but it's just better. I like it.
There you have it. Just better. And unfortunately, if they are in the sky and a Sombra ult does come out, they probably will fall just like we saw with that Pharmacy comp earlier in those highlights. But for now, the Justice continuing to chug along. 2 people on the payload, 245 left to go, and they are moving in on 60 meters.
Assassin getting that hack onto the Wrecking Ball. Pushing around the top of that horseshoe. I just realized after all these years that it looks like a freaking horseshoe. Look at that. Coming around the horseshoe.
New every day, chat. John, you're learning about the shape of a horseshoe, but the Justice learning how to continue to move this payload. It does look like it will start going the other way for just a moment as the Justice look to recover here.
Oh, look, Happy using that legal aimbot once again. Taking down Mag's mines. Cart stalled here just a bit away from that second checkpoint. DK has that pulse bomb ready to go. Wait for him to use it. That self-destruct was up for Piggy.
That's a big one as it's going to take down Closer and then weaken Fury to go down for the takedown as well. The Justice are going to have to regroup here. About 145 left to go. They will have some ultimates to work with. You're going to have a Tracer ult, which is going to come out now, as well as a Sombra ult, and it looks like Bebe's Zenyatta ult will be up too.
Cart currently stalled. Just under $130 to go for this Justice team. Looking to regroup. Happy with that ultimate ready to go, just waiting for the Justice team to come out there. Probably
Houston's about to have 5 ultimates available for this next fight. That is not looking too good for the Justice as they only have 1 minute left to push.
This is going to be a big team fight here. And there goes the aimbot on the side of Happy.
Not getting too much out of it, though, so that is a little bit effective for the Justice. Unfortunately, still a lot of hold being held here for Houston, with ultimates still available as they are starting to rain down, though.
Modifying happening on and around the cart, slowly pushing. This Closer solo pushes for just a little bit, waiting for the rest of the team to come up. Decay is there. The pulse bomb is down. It's not going to catch anyone. But Decay was nice enough to take Happy down. Jake taking down Bebe in return. Both teams not at full strength in this fight. The Outlaws are looking to hold on. They're under 10 seconds. They're pushing the Justice back. They may not be able to get back to the cart in time. It's 2 seconds left, and the cart's going backwards. It's into overtime now. They'll have one last chance. Less than 5 meters they have to push it. They're so close to getting a little extra time in the bank. Okay, with that Pulse Bomb, they may be able to do it. The Pulse Bomb is down. This one's continuing on forever. They have to stay close to the cart. Fury doing everything he can as well. Quickly dies after gets demeched, and that will do it for the Justice on their initial push. Only getting through one checkpoint, unable to get that second one. And Joey, I don't know about you. My hands are getting a little sweaty. I'm getting a little nervous here. This is going to be a very, very tough hold for an Outlaw team that is a very good team fight-based comp right now. It's tough.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like the Outlaws were actually going to close that one out pretty cleanly, but then the Justice giving them some trouble, ending up extending that team fight for quite a while and just sitting in on overtime for what felt like almost a minute and a half. In the end, unfortunately, and it's very rare that this happens, Decay making a mistake there, unfortunately taking himself out alongside that Pulse Bomb, and that was a difference maker. Not that they could have pushed it through potentially, but it definitely would have been nice to have Decay up there laying down some more damage at the end there. I would have made it a little bit closer, but in the end, as you said, Houston does stop them. The Justice able to get 1 point and get right to the eclipse of that second point. Now they have the time to defend, and we'll see how they do up against Houston's offense.
It's going to be tough, Justice fans. We are in for the long haul here. We'll see if the Justice are able to hold this Houston Outlaws team that just feels like everything is going their way in all these team fights. They just have to get that first checkpoint and about 95% of the way to the second checkpoint. That is their goal. Happy on Widow. Just scouting out here a little bit. We'll switch back over to Sombra.
Yeah, Happy's not about to take shots into two tanks there. A Diva and Wrecking Ball, the only ones being shown there. Probably not worth using your shot too hard there. Getting the quick switch coming out, going to that Sombra. Very similar comps on both sides. It looks like it is going to match exactly.
The cart is pushing for the Outlaws. James, you might want to try hiding on the roof again instead of swinging around that billboard. Didn't work out well for him that time. As the Justice take the fight to the Outlaws. Mag picking up the double kill. A solid fight inside the gas station. That's going to hold the Outlaws there on that second turn.
Yeah, really good hold there. Mag playing very effectively on Wrecking Ball, able to really cause terror from all different sides of the battlefield, back and front. In the end, enough alongside his teammates to push Houston back to that spawn. They're going to get some more time to work with, though. 2:30 left here, 57.49 meters pushed. Not quite enough to hit that first checkpoint, so they do have ways to go, and the Justice are ticking up in the ultimate meters. They do have Decay's Pulse Bomb available. The rest right around 60%, with the exception of Bebe, who is at 93% on the Zenyatta.
Pulse Bomb down for Dante. Catches Bebe. Feels like a lot of Pulse Bombs have just been dealing damage and not really finishing any player off here in these three maps we've seen so far. But Dante taking down Bebe in the back line for the Justice. Now Decay looking to do the same here, but a great Transcendence from Crimzo will nullify that Pulse Bomb, and the cart will push.
Yeah, it's a big pick off there. Crimzo taking down Decay. This might be enough, actually. It does look like it will be to capture the point, though. Mag's Wrecking Ball has something different in mind, as they're going to get back just in time.
Happy has that EMP ready to go. Just wait for his time to unleash from behind. Might be trying to sneak around, catch the back line off guard. The Outlaws are slowly pushing around that initial corner. The Justice holding the high ground.
Hey there.
4 ults up on the side of the Outlaws. Happy using his. Jake popping his as well. The Justice still a little far away. Bebe is down. Mag using his ulti as well now. In the fight, it's under a minute. It's a good hold so far for the Justice. They just need to hold on. Prevent that push. It's going to be tough. They're down to 3.3 meters to go. And they're in good position to make it happen. It's going to continue to push, and they will get it. Now just over 3 minutes to beat where the Justice push here on the second point. It's still plenty of time for them to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Strong initial hold from the Justice, though, able to really cut down on the time available for this next portion of the push. Just under 3 minutes, as you mentioned. Houston starting on their way on the push, but the Justice will have plenty of time to defend, and they're going to have some ultimates to work with as well. Decay's Tracer, Pulse Bomb will be back up. Assassin's EMP getting pretty close there, right around 80%, and Bebe will have that Transcendence available. On the side of the Outlaws, so far, it is only looking like Piggy will have the Diva ult up to work with on this first push.
Assassin pushing up on that high ground on Sombra. Has that EMP ready to go. Decay Pulse Bomb is up as well. Crimzo with another Transcendence to really protect his team. Throughout that EMP blast from Assassin. Pulse Bomb down, catches Crimzo. Decay with the double kill. D-Mech and Piggy as well, then finishing Piggy off for the triple. And taking down Jake. Okay, Decay.
Decay definitely making up for Pulse Bombing himself in the last game. Coming out very strong here on the defense. A big kill. I believe he's involved in all 6 of those, at least 5 of them coming through from Decay.
Saw earlier someone had just got their Decay jersey, and it's probably a good time to start wearing it. Decay's popping off.
Absolutely. Decay, one of the best players in the league, both from a leadership standpoint, from an effectiveness on mechanic standpoint, just always getting the job done, and one of the league's best tracers to watch. Such a strong player.
Oh, Happy's EMP catching 4. Decay, Fury, Bebe, and Closer had to wait a little bit longer in that team fight. Under a minute to go. They don't have too much farther to go. Just trying to hold on. Fury on Diva trying to push the Outlaws out of that building, trying to split them up. Easier to pick them off that way. Crimzo with the Transcendence once again.
Yeah, a little bit of an early Transcendence coming out there. 30 seconds left, and that probably means the Transcendence will not be available for the next one, but Crimzo turning it around and getting some kills alongside it.
It's so close. 12 seconds left. The Justice have to contest on the cart. It's a big EMP from Assassin catching 4. Piggy, Crimzo, Jake, and Dante all caught in the EMP. It's the final fight. Mag dropping in, trying to disrupt the team, but it's 2, 3, 4 kills for the Outlaws. My goodness, it came down to the last team fight again, and they just couldn't hold on. Oh, it is a clean 3-0 for the Houston Outlaws. That is a dagger. They were so close on 2 of those maps. I mean, this easily could be 2-1 in favor of the Justice right now. It could easily be 2-1 in favor of the Outlaws right now. But that last team fight, both on Blizzard World and here on Route 66, just unable to finish it off. That is heartbreaking.
Yeah, that was a tough one to watch, Justice fam. I mean, overall, there are some nice takeaways in the sense that we did do well on the escort portion of the map. We did do well on the escort portion of the hybrid map as well. So we are making improvements overall. We're seeing that week over week. Unfortunately, not enough improvements to get it done against a team that is just slightly above us in the standings toward the top of the list here. It's a tough one, John. It is a tough one to lose here, especially going down 3-0 up against Houston. But it was a close match. We did do very well on Route 66 for the most part. Unfortunately, just slightly missing those last fights on there, as well as Blizzard World for 2 of the points. And those just ended up being the difference makers today.
Yeah, that's tough. That is, well, I mean, Reinforce was correct. It was a 3-0. If we're trying to find the bright side anywhere here, if it's possible. Just not in favor of the Justice. Yeah, again, seeing those improvements on the hybrid map, on the escort map, but again, still struggling on these kinds of maps. It's coming down to defending the cart, coming down to that last team fight, whether you're on the offensive side or the defensive side. It's still a struggle for this Washington Justice team. The struggles continue. I guarantee you, the coaching staff, we already talked to them. They're well aware of it. They're working on it. It's got to stay the course. They'll figure it out, and hopefully, they'll get to Hawaii, they'll get to the playoffs, and they'll just be able to ride that momentum. But this one hurt. This one I felt like could have gone 5, if it wasn't for a couple team fights here and there. But sometimes that's what it comes down to, is that last team fight, and you have to be able to close it out.
Absolutely, and it was the last team fight of the match, but as well as the last team fight on a couple of these maps that were just the difference maker. We saw it on Control on Ilios for one of them. We saw it again on a couple of these, twice on Blizzard World, and then again on Route 66. Unfortunately, just not going the way of the Justice. But again, guys, keep your heads high. We're making improvements here and there. We've seen it week over week, especially on those what feels like the bane of our existence in escort maps. We're doing better. Again, a very good team here in the Outlaws today, and able to push that payload a little bit farther than we have in the past on some of these maps. Unfortunately, we do lose our first on Route 66. Definitely not our first escort loss, but in the end, it's a tough one to lose against Houston, John.
Absolutely. Well, they'll have to quickly put this one behind them. Coming up on Sunday is going to be the next match, and it's against a familiar foe, the LA Gladiators. Will be the next matchup Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, that's probably going to change because we're the last game of the day, and if everyone else goes quick, then we'll be playing early. So just pay attention to the Overwatch League schedule prior to that matchup. Joey, I'm feeling confident about this. The last time we played the Gladiators, it went 5, went in favor of the Justice. Again, they're a tough team. We just got done playing a tough team in the Outlaws. I feel like the Justice played well, just not well enough in those last-minute situations to seal the wins. It's just one of those things where it's like, got to put this one behind you real quick. It's not necessarily that you played bad. It's just you just weren't able to finish in those crucial moments. Now you're going up against a Gladiators team that you've already defeated before. So I'm feeling good about this one. So definitely tune in here for the official Washington Justice co-stream on the Washington Justice YouTube channel. Joey and myself will be back with you on Sunday. So generally what happens now is we would throw it to a break and we come back with a post-game press conference. But that's generally pending a win. Unfortunately, without a win, we won't have the interview. The players, rightfully so, are probably not feeling the best. They do have a watch party going on in downtown Washington, D.C., so they'll have interactions with the fans down there at the headquarters. But for interview-wise, we'll have to wait for Sunday for hopefully a victory there. I believe we were going to have Fury on today. So if we weren't able to get Fury today, we'll probably get Fury on Sunday. So keep that in the back of your mind as well. And Joey, Sunday's another day in Overwatch.
Yeah, Sunday's another day. And just one more thing to mention to you guys as well. We saw it again back in May Melee to June Joust where those hero bans came out, and it did take us some time to adjust. This time they hit us a little bit, not quite as hard as they did back then. We're able to quickly move Assassin from Echo to Sombra. We've seen Fury adjust, not having Sigma available. In the end, it's still a mentality change, though. Having those bans come out, you have to rethink of what the other team is going to pick as well as your own composition. So in the end, it's going to take some time to adjust. I think, as John said, we could have a pretty quick bounce back against the Gladiators on Sunday, but only time will tell. We're just going to have to make that adjustment quicker and quicker because come playoffs, these adjustments are going to be forced even quicker than we've seen with the June Joust as well as now in the Countdown Cup. So improvements, but still a ways to go.
Absolutely. So that is going to wrap it up here for today's co-stream for the Washington Justice. Again, unfortunately, the Justice falling to the Houston Outlaws in 3 straight maps, 3-0 in favor of the Outlaws here in the Countdown Cup, the start of that journey. But again, we will be back on Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the Washington Justice YouTube channel. So if you have not done so already, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell to know when we go live and for all the amazing other content. If you're not doing so already, make sure you're following the Justice on social media as well. You can see them. They're all right down there for you. Have that up there for a little bit longer. But on behalf of the entire Washington Justice organization and Joey Courtside King McDermott, my name is John Fiasco Byron. We will see you all on Sunday.